So for the last couple of days, I have been gaming a little bit more than usual because I found out not too long ago that Diablo 2 still lives. And Diablo 2 was always one of my favorite PC games, even before switching from Windows to Linux back on my Windows machines, 20 years ago or whatever. This game came out like 23, 24 years ago, and I was a player of Diablo 2 day one. And of course, before that, I played the original Diablo game. Very cool game. And I realized the other day, because Steve from Zero Linux mentioned he was playing this on Linux, that this was playable on Linux, the D2 Resurrected. So it's basically Diablo 2 redone, so it's got better graphics, but it's essentially the exact same gameplay, which I thought was very cool. I think it was on sale for like $13. So naturally, I wanted to play it, and I ran into some issues, just like everything with Linux, right? There are some things that are really frustrating, and then there are some things that are really fantastic. Now, the way to get Diablo 2 Resurrected on a Linux machine to get it playable, it's not a Steam game, right? It's a Battle.net game from Blizzard, and the easiest way to get up and running Battle.net, according to a Google search, was to simply install it through Lutris. So I installed Lutris on my machine, but I kept getting this annoying error with Lutris, where apparently it's a common error, especially on Arch Linux-based systems, where you try to install Battle.net through Lutris and it crashes when it reaches 45% done. It gets to a 45% progress bar, and then it just hangs forever. Maybe there's some screenshots. If I go to images, you get like a little terminal that pops up. It gets to 45%, and then it just hangs. It never completes the installation, and it's very annoying. And there's tons of threads on like the Arch Reddit, the Lutris Reddit, Linux on Gaming Reddit, and nobody seems to have a solution that really works. Like some people say they solved it doing this and that, and I tried all kinds of things. I spent literally like 3 hours a couple of mornings ago trying to get Battle.net installed through Lutris, and I gave up. So I just walked away, and I was like, man, I really wanted to play Diablo 2. I had my heart set on it. So then I remembered a few years ago, I think 2-3 years ago, I discovered a program called Bottles. And Bottles is a really neat program. It basically is a front end to Wine. It makes installing things through Wine easier. And I thought, you know what? I could use Bottles to install Battle.net, and maybe that'll actually work. And to my surprise, it works flawlessly. So let me show you how this works. So I installed Bottles as a Flatpak. I just did a Flatpak install Bottles. The reason I chose Flatpak was because I chose Flatpak. Bottles, I think their default package format, the one they seem to push, is installing the Flatpak version, and of course it's always up to date. So I just installed the Flatpak, and then all I did was create this bottle. I named it Battle.net, and it needed to be a gaming bottle. Now, if you've never created a bottle before, just hit the plus sign here. And then it wants to know, what are you trying to install here? Is this a normal desktop application, or is it a game? Because Bottles is not like Lutris. Lutris is a front end for gaming, right? It's to catalog your games and it's basically a game launcher. Bottles is kind of a catch-all. It can install any kind of program out there, not just games, but it does have a special kind of optimization specifically for your games. So create a gaming bottle, name it whatever. This can be Battle 2, because I've already got a Battle.net bottle. You can create that, and it's going to take a few seconds while it creates that bottle. It's basically just going to set up all the Wine configuration. It's automatically going to set up this Wine configuration specifically geared toward gaming. And then when it's done, you get bottle created, you close that, and now you've got this bottle, but there's no programs installed just yet. Then you go install programs. And for me, I was pleasantly surprised, because when I tried this, I really didn't know if they would have a default option to install Battle.net. I thought I would have to go download the files myself, the install files, but it's right here, and it's gold, meaning it should work. And then you just click this button here, and it installs the program for you. It takes a few minutes for it to install. Now, of course, I don't need to run through the installer because I've already got it installed in a different bottle. Now, I don't need to keep this bottle because I've already got one that's got the Battle.net program, so I'll delete Battle 2 later. I don't think there's a way to actually delete the bottles inside Bottles itself, the program, but you can go, I think it's in your home folder. I think it's .var/app bottles, if I remember correctly. Let me open up my file manager. I guess I could do this on camera. That way you guys are probably going to have the same question that I have is, hey, how do I delete this bottle? It's home directory .var app and then com.usebottles.bottles because it's the flat pack. So that's the flat pack name of the binary. And then you go in here, there should be a data folder, bottles, and then one more time, bottles. There is Battle 2, and if we delete that, now let me close bottles and restart it. Really, they should make that a lot easier, right, to delete the bottles. But anyway, here is bottles without the extra bottle I created as a test. But let me go into Battle.net. And you can see I've already got a program installed here, which is the actual Battle.net program. Let me launch it. And finally, the Battle.net window pops up, and this is where you, if you have an account, you enter either your phone or your email and your password for privacy reasons. I'll log in off camera. You guys don't need my email. You certainly don't need my phone number. If you don't have an account, of course, you can create a new Battle.net account if this is your first time using Battle.net. And I went ahead and entered my login credentials. It's going to take a minute or two for this window to load as well. And it finished loading. That took about a minute for that window to load. Let me close up that particular window there. Now, if you're first installing this, right, you just got Battle.net installed, you need to go to games. And if you don't have any games already, what you need to do is actually purchase a game. I purchased Diablo II Resurrected. It was on sale for like $13 or $14. You go ahead and purchase it, and then it downloads and installs, right? The download is about 27 or 28 gigs, and it takes a while to actually download all the files. So, don't plan on, playing this 5 minutes after you install it. It's going to take a little bit of time. It might take 20, 30 minutes for the download to complete. It's going to take a minute. But once it's installed, then just go ahead and click on it, click play. Let me get this particular window out of the way here. And hopefully you guys are hearing that. I'm actually not hearing the desktop audio. Let me pull up Pulse Audio volume control. All right, I had to play with Pulse Audio volume control. Now you guys should be hearing the audio, but I also can hear it. Now, it might be a little loud, so I'm going to turn down the desktop audio a little bit in OBS, but let's go ahead and get into this. Now, I already have a Necromancer character, so if you're new to Diablo 2, you've got a bunch of different classes you could choose from. I created this character 2 days ago, right? So I've played for 2 days. I've taken this character from 0 to level 51 already. If you want to see a little bit of gameplay, let's go ahead and I'll go to a normal mode just to make things easier on myself. And you can see the graphics have definitely been updated from where the game was when it first released 23, 24 years ago. The graphics are old and dated. There is a hotkey in DTR in Diablo II Resurrected. If you want to go to the old school legacy graphics from like 25 years ago, there is a key binding you can hit. I don't know what the key binding is offhand. I've hit it on accident before. If I go to options, controls, scroll down, Legacy toggle. I don't have that set to anything. Let me go ahead. I'm going to set it to L, save my custom key bindings, hit apply. Let's go ahead and close. And now when I hit L on the keyboard, this is what the game originally looked like, right? Now, 23 years ago, that wasn't bad, right? That was what games typically look like. But now the remastered version, right? Diablo II Resurrected obviously looks much better. Let's go ahead and get into a little bit of some gameplay. I'll just go to the catacombs here and just to show you guys some of the animations and everything. It's really a nice update on this. Really cool stuff. And I'm a pretty high level to be, in normal mode here. There's 3 different levels: normal, nightmare, and hell. So I should be able to just run through here, no problems. I don't really have to worry about dying, but this is just mainly you guys get to see some of the graphics. You get to see some of the lighting. This game is very dark. I mean, it's dark in nature as far as it's almost like a horror game, but I wouldn't say it's necessarily like the horror genre. But it's also dark just in tone, right? Or colors. Obviously, your character can get more light radius where he can see more, but so many things are very darkly shaded, and that also adds to kind of like the horror kind of effect of this thing. Not enough mana. But that is a little bit, just a couple of minutes of the Diablo 2 gameplay. Diablo 2 Resurrected, available on pretty much all platforms, even on Linux. Even though if you search for Diablo 2 Resurrected on Linux, everybody recommends you installing it through Lutris. Right now, if you're on an Arch-based system, chances are that Lutris install is not going to work, but the bottles install worked flawlessly. Like, you know, you create your bottle, then you go to install a program. Battle.net is one of the first programs to install, and you just click the button and away you go. So there you have it, a little bit about both bottles and wine and Diablo 2 Resurrected. Again, I'm not much of a gamer. You guys don't get much gaming content on this channel. A lot of you guys ask for it, but I'm not much of a gamer. I do like some of the more retro games. I guess Diablo 2 kind of counts as a bit of a retro game. And I would love to know what you guys, if you guys like this kind of content. Matter of fact, are you guys fans of Diablo 2? Would you guys maybe want to do like a Diablo 2 Resurrected gaming live stream at some point? I'm not really against that idea. I think that could be fun. Anyway, before I go, let me thank a few special people. Let me thank the patrons of this channel. The producers of the channel here: Matt, James, Steve, Armor Dragon, Darloff, Dayless, GDR, George, Lee, Matthew, Methos, Urion, Paul, Pete, Sargent, Fedora, Realities for Less, Red Prophet, Roland, Solastri, Tenrun, Wargento, and Ubuntu, and Willie. These guys, they're my highest tiered patrons over on Patreon. Without these guys, this quick look at Diablo 2 Resurrected running on Linux through bottles wouldn't have been possible. The show is also brought to you by each and every one of these fine ladies and gentlemen. All these names you're seeing on the screen right now, these are my supporters over on Patreon, because I don't have any corporate sponsors. I'm sponsored by you guys, the community. If you like my work, want to see more videos on stuff like maybe Diablo 2 Resurrected, subscribe to DistroTube over on Patreon. Peace, guys.